Hi guys, this is this month's currently reading shelf. It has been a little while since I recorded the last one. I was away on holiday and I did read some books that weren't actually part of the currently reading shelf. I did read a Little House on the Prairie series, spin-off series, which will be coming in a later video once I can figure out which shelf I'm going to put it on, because at the moment my Little House on the Prairie shelf is quite full. We'll try and work that out at some point. So it has been an alright past couple of months with book reading. Some have been a bit hit and miss. There's some that I've just gotten rid of, and now we're on to this shelf. I still have, I think it's the Never Together or something by Lauren James, which I'm reading at the moment. I just started reading that last night, so I'm enjoying that so far. I've ordered the sequel that's coming today as I'm filming this. This is probably going to be August's to read shelf by the time I get edited and put up, because we are now on the 25th or 26th of July, so I may as well just put it up for August once I get round to it. You'll notice there's a few books that are sitting on top at the moment. I've just come across those in the shelf. They are related to other books that are currently on the shelf. These have come from other shelves, so I'm including those as well because they're parts of sets, so I'll just read them. But let's get into the video. Let's see what we have to read for this month. So the first book that I have to read is Shopaholic to the Stars by Sophie Kinsella. I've read most of these books now. I think I'm a little bit behind at the moment. I think this is one of the later ones which I haven't got around to reading, and I know there's another one coming out soon as well, but I've read all of them. They're simple, easy, straightforward to read. I've probably forgotten most of what happens in the earlier ones now. And I did see the film with Isla Fisher as well. Oh, I wasn't entirely keen on that. I think they could have done it better. It was just alright. But that's that one. It's quite a thick book actually. And next up we have Remade by Alex Scarrow. Now, probably mentioned this before or on a different video. I love all of his Time Riders books. I know that book 10 is being written at the moment. The last update that I saw on Alex's Twitter account was that he was like just over 50% of the way through it, and here was me thinking it ended on 9 books, but no, he is revisiting it. I have not liked any of his other books. I have tried I think it's Candlestick Man, something like that. I tried that one because it was supposed to be about the Titanic. Didn't like it. I've tried a few of his other adult books and I've not liked any of them. So I'm not confident about this one, and obviously when book number 10 comes out of the Time Riders series, I'll probably go back and read Time Riders like right from book 1 right through, because I did enjoy them. There was only one weak one in the entire series. I think it was the Eternal War. Possibly I might be wrong in thinking that, but that was definitely the weakest that I found anyway. But the rest of them were really, really good. Fans of Darren Shan and Charlie Higson will love it. I've never read Darren Shan. I haven't heard of Charlie Higson, so I'm just a bit unsure about any of his books. I think I got it on the cheap. I also have a book called Changing Lives, which is by Tracy Kincaid, and as you can see there, this is going to be a book about the Titanic, since it features Titanic within the hourglass there. It's a very simply effective cover, I find. The butterfly, the Titanic caught in the hourglass. It sounds a bit of an odd story, I have to say. I'm not quite sure where they're trying to go with it or what they're going to be like, what the author's going to do. It'll be interesting to see what that's like. It sounds completely different. The author's tried to do something different with the Titanic story rather than everything that is out there at the moment. So it'll be quite interesting to see what this is like, if it's any good. It is quite a thin book, and it is one of those kind of self-published ones as well. It might be okay. I had to get it from Amazon.com because I just wasn't getting it easily in the UK. So that probably means that as soon as I check it on Amazon to link it down below, it'll be readily available. because that's just the way things happen. I have Taking the Titanic, A Heist to Remember by James Patterson and Scott Slaven. This is one of these. I have a couple of James Patterson books, but I don't readily buy them. He is doing a lot of these ones now where his name is just on the cover, and it's obviously been written by someone else, and it's really probably to get it into the public eye, and he's just, I'm not quite sure if he's just slapped his name on or what he's done. I have his like Suzanne's Diary for Nicholas. I have one of his other ones, and I think that's about it. I'm not particularly keen on how he is just slapping his name on any old thing now. It's a short book, obviously. It's one of the book shots series, so it's not going to be long at all. Only 146 pages, and if you kind of look at the sort of author page there, you can see all these ones with Maxine Petro, then you've got all these ones with Michael Ledwidge, you've got a couple dotted about here, and you've got Andrew Gross, Maxine Petro, Mark Sullivan. He's just non-stop, and he's obviously just to get these other people, many of whom I've never heard of, get them into the sort of public eye. I have Spiders by Tom Hoyle. Yes, I did say Spiders. This is from the author of 13. I'm pretty sure I have 13 somewhere. I hope this isn't a sequel. I don't think it is. I think it's a standalone. But what I like is that on the edge of the pages, you've got the web is closing in. And yeah, I definitely recognise that for 13. There's not much of a blurb there. It says they'll make your skin crawl. So there's not much of a blurb on this book at all. Like, I can't tell you any more than what's on it. We've also got this sort of spider design on the top and the bottom of the book there as well. I can't really remember why I picked this up. I think I picked it up because I had 13. So God knows where 13 is at the moment, because who knows. But I must have seen something that I liked about it from like a blurb on Amazon or something. I also have The State We're In by Adele Park. I've not had too much luck with Adele's books, unfortunately. I think I got this out at the charity shop because the spine is quite creased. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up on that, but I've read a couple of her books now. I'm just not 100% sure, but again, not much of a blurb on the back of this. What are the odds that the stranger sitting next to you on a plane is destined to change your life? There is nothing. Oh, actually I got this from Amazon. Sounds interesting when you read it like that. I think that's what initially intrigued me. I've read a couple similar books to that. I think there was one by Fight or Flight by Samantha Young. That was quite a good one. And then obviously we have The Mountains Between Us as well. And next up we have A Stitch in Time by Penelope Lively, which is another kind of children's young adult time travel book as far as I can remember. Special note from best-selling author Michelle McGorrian. I love her books. It was funny, I read something the other day and it just said 2 words, just said Bobby Sock, and I instantly got Rusty from Back Home like in my head, and I really wanted to go back and reread Back Home again because it was one of my favourite books, along with Goodnight Mr. Tom and A Little Love Song as well. I think I really don't have the time. Hopefully this one will be quite good. The last like young adult time travel book I read, I wasn't that keen on, couldn't get into it. And next up we have The Buried Giant by, I would say it is Kazuo Ishiguro, but I have no idea if that's actually right. I'm not sure how I will get on with this. I find it very hard to actually read his books. I don't think I've really got into and read one of his books since that one that was made into a film with Keira Knightley, which suddenly slips my mind. I just don't know. I don't know. I'll give it a go, but I can't see myself getting on too well with it. I just find him a very, very hit and miss author. I have the latest book in the Out of Time series called Expedition in Time by Monique Martin. I have all of her books now. I have no space for them on the shelf, so I'm screwed. But I do have all of her books now, including the Jack ones that are coming up shortly. I do love these books. I think they're really good, and what I like about them as well is that if you post on Monique's Facebook page, she normally responds to you. So I had to post recently because I was like, I can't get, I've got all of them in paperback, and I posted to her and I was like, I cannot get one of the Jack books in paperback, and she said, oh, let me have a little look into it, and she came back and she actually said that's it listed on paperback on Amazon now. I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna go order it now. It's one of these ones, I think it's the last one. So we've got Jack's a Wild. So this is a spin-off from the Simon and Elizabeth series. So this is the Saving Time series. So you'll know Jack. If you've read all of the Out of Time series, you'll know Jack pretty well from, he pops up quite frequently. Oh, and he's also joined by Simon and Elizabeth as well. I don't really think the series needed a spin-off. I'm glad she has done. I think it'll be quite good. Then we have Aloha Jack. This is book 2, so I am getting them in the right order at least. And I like how she always finds a different piece of history to put them into as well. And then we have the latest one so far, which is Nairobi Jack. I think that's how you say it. This is book 3. So that'll be me playing catch up on that series since I have 4 books to read. So next up I have the originals by Kat Patrick. I was just checking to see if this was actually a sequel because I've read another of her books and I know I have one other on the shelf. I saw it yesterday when I was moving my books along. I don't think it is a sequel though. So I think I've read Forgotten. Don't think I've read Revived yet, but I've definitely read Forgotten. So it sounds quite interesting. It sounds like quite intriguing. Hopefully the author can pull it off. I think it's been quite some time since I actually read Forgotten now, so I don't really remember much about it. I think I remembered liking it. I seem to have a lot of books coming up at the moment by the same author, so this should be interesting because I remember I read the other one of her books. So I've got Dark Secrets 2 by Elizabeth Chandler. I do like the cover art of these ones as well. So this is 2 books in one. So you've got No Time to Die and The Deep End of Fear. I think I've read Kissed by an Angel. They're the kind of books that if I'd been a few years younger, it's probably the kind of books that I would have taken out the library. They're quite easy to read. I don't know if they will all be keepers yet. Here's Kissed by an Angel. Again, really nice cover. True love lasts forever. Well, the cynic in me would say not. So this is just one book. This is a hefty book. It's nearly 700 pages long. That may take me a while. But I've also got I think I've got these in the right order. So I've also got Evercrossed, which turns out it's either I think it's the sequel to Kissed by an Angel. I'll need to check what order these come in because I'm not 100% sure like what I'm reading here, if it's the original, if it's a sequel. I'll need to check before I start reading these because I'm honestly not sure. Then I've got Everlasting, which is another Kissed by an Angel novel, another beautiful cover. Again, I'm not 100% sure if I'm even putting these in the right order. I've just put them in the order that they came up on my shelf. Hopefully I've got them all. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Then I've got Dark Secrets 3, which is not a Kissed by an Angel series, is just another one of her books. I mean, they all sound good. They all sound like nice and easy to read. Whatever the first one was that I read, I think I got that from the charity shop. I think it was one of the Dark Secrets ones. I can just see it on my shelf. And up next I have The Earth Hums in B Flat by Mary Strachan. Now, I bought this purely because of the title. I thought it was the most strangest, weirdest title that I've seen in quite some time. 2009, so it's 10 years old now. I hate this font. I know it's like cover font as well, but oh. Next up we've got Goth Girl and the Ghost of Her Mouse. I do like these books. I've read one of the other ones so far, and I've got this one and the next one coming up, and this is by Chris Riddle. And I do like the cover art of these. They're really pretty. It does have really nice pictures, illustrations scattered through. It's quite an easy book to read. Again, it's not Probably something I should be reading. And then I have another one, which is Goth Girl and the Worse Than Death. This is a hardback one, the sequel to Goth Girl and the Ghost of Her Mouse. I think I've possibly read these out of order. Nice little pictures dotted throughout. At the end of this one there's a little kind of extra book called The Biography of a Bear by Marylebone. See if I can get this back in. And very nice end covers there. Now, this is a throwback for anyone who ever watched like Channel 4 back in the early 90s, late 80s sort of thing. This is From the Outside by Betty Bobbitt, who played Judy Bryant on Prisoner Cell Block 8. I have her biography. I think I bought this direct from her website. It's the only way of getting it. That's Betty now. Quite a change from the Judy Bryant. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else though. I mean, quite amazing that it says here she was offered a 13-week role in Prisoner and left 5 years later. I mean, she was a good character, she had some good storylines. Best thing is, it's signed. I think I paid extra just to get a signed copy. So yeah, that should be quite interesting. It's quite a thin book. Hopefully it is a lot about Prisoner. As I say, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else. Like if she'd turned up in Neighbours maybe or something like that, then I'd probably know her from that. But I have all of the Prisoners, which are actually just down in the corner there. I've got nearly all of them now on DVD, and that's what I grew up watching with my mum, was Prisoner Cell Block 8. Probably not the most age appropriate thing for a youngster to be watching, but you know, you needed something else from Little House on the Prairie. I also have The One by John Mars. I think I got his other book as well, which The Passengers, I think it was called. I got that recently, so hopefully he's actually going to be good, because I'm a bit worried now. Oh, that sounds quite interesting. Like, if you could take a DNA test to find your absolutely perfect partner, the one you are made for, would you do it? I don't know if I would actually. Like, I'm not 100% sure if I'd actually do that. I mean, part of me wants to, but at the same time, part of me just wants to leave it up to whatever life throws at me. But it's got a whole kind of page advert inside for this Match Your DNA. 98% of matches are identified within 6 months of registering. What happens to the other 2%? Maybe there's no one out there for you. Next up, I have Unremembered by Jessica Brody. Looks like there's a sequel. I'm finding that a lot at the moment. It's the same as The Never Together as well, whatever it was called. Strange how I'm reading it, I can't actually think of the title, but that's got a sequel as well, so I had to order it straight away. And I'm sure there was something on my last shelf I had to order, like the sequel or the rest in the series as well. But I do like that cover, it's really interesting. Hoping this will be good. I think I saw the kind of blurb and I saw the cover art, really liked it. Up next, I've got Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher. One of my friends got me this for either a birthday or a Christmas present. Looking forward to reading this. It's quite thin. I'm sure I have one of her other biographies on my shelf as well, somewhere. I think it'll be kind of bittersweet to read this at the same time, considering everything that's happened. And I'm not entirely sure why I put it on my wish list, as I've never actually seen Star Wars. Never. Like, not even one of the films. One of the guys at work actually keeps slagging me off about this and keeps telling me to read it, to watch it, because then I think there's spin-off novels maybe, or something like that as well. But I got this. I think it'll be quite good. I think it'll be quite quirky, but at the same time, I do think it's going to be quite bittersweet. I'm a bit on edge about reading it, I suppose. Next up, we've got The Secret Lives of Dresses by Erin McKean, I think it is. Every dress has a story, let me tell you mine. I think this is going to be a really clever book. I think it's really interesting that someone has thought of this idea, and I really like the cover art as well. It's so pretty. I have Uprooted by Naomi Novik, I want to say, and this is one of the kind of fairy tale reimaginings, I suppose. I do want to like these sort of books, but they can quite often be very hit and miss. They quite often don't hit the mark that I suppose I'm wanting them to. Like, I'm wanting the story to be taken on its head and changed, but still be recognisable, and I just don't think some of them are capturing the magic. I've said that before with the, you know, the Disney spin-off ones. I've got quite a few of them now, and I forget the titles and I can't spot them on my shelves at the moment, but they're the same. They're a bit, I keep buying them and I keep ending up disappointed every time I read them, which is a bit of a nuisance really. I have Daughters of Time. So this is an anthology book from different authors. Only author I recognise from that lot is Celia Reese. I used to read quite a few of her books when I was younger, so it'll be quite interesting because out of all those authors, I'm actually being introduced to almost all of them bar one. Mary Hoffman's ringing a bell, but I don't know why. I can't think of who it is off the top of my head right now, but it'll be quite interesting to read this and see what they've done with the stories. I mean, they don't look like seriously long, and I think it may be like more towards children. So we've got quite a lengthy introduction actually. So we've got Queen Boudica, not even going to attempt to pronounce that second one. We've got Eleanor of Aquitaine, Julian of Norwich, Lady Jane Grey, Elizabeth Stewart, Ephra Ben, Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Anning, Mary Seacole, Emily Davison, Emmy Johnson, the Greenham Common Woman. Yeah, I've not heard of many of those, I have to say. I'll see what that one's like. I mean, most of the stories are quite short, so if I don't like them, I can always just skip them. Hopefully it won't be too bad. So, next up we have Impossible Things by Connie Willis. A really kind of intriguing cover, which doesn't really tell you much about the actual book itself. This is 11 short stories. So hopefully this will be good. I don't think I've read, I have a feeling she's got a couple of editions of short stories. I don't think I've read any of the others as yet anyway, but I hope it's not one of those short stories where you're left like kind of wanting to read more or wanting to read more about a particular character and then it just ends, because I hate that. I've got 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. This has been circling its way around my to read shelves for quite a while now. I really just need to pluck up the courage and read it, see if it's any good. I've already seen the film, saw the film quite a while ago. I think I got it from Love Film possibly. It's not a film you would watch again, put it that way, so I'm not sure what the book will be like. I think my dad picked this up for me, so it's quite, you can see it's quite second-hand on the creasing there. I'm pretty sure it was picked up from maybe a charity shop or something like that. First published in 1853, wow. I don't know what it'll be like, I'm not sure, probably because the way I've kept skipping it as well. I think I'm just not 100% sure what I'll think of that. Got another young adult Titanic book. This is an American Girl series, so it's probably one of those ones where they put someone, a fictional character, into real life events sort of thing. Real stories from my time, and it looks like Samantha. I think there's like a lot of these sort of books, which I probably, if I'd been younger, would have picked up from the library. Time, it's only 103 pages, excluding like the preview for the next book at the back. Photos as well of actual people who were on the Titanic there. I've got another Titanic book. I've got Survivor Titanic by Stephen Davies with a really like effective cover. For some reason it's quite simplistic, showing this man or boy in the water against the lights of the Titanic. I find that really effective. gripping first-hand accounts of the most dangerous events in history. So it sounds similar to the previous one. It's going to be putting people, fictional people, into real-life events sort of thing. There's another one at the back there, which is Survivor Escape from Pompeii. And it looks like there's a preview for Pompeii as well. So if you take off the preview, it's only 137 pages for that one. So again, quite short, children, young adult book. And then next up we've got Because You'll Never Meet Me by Leah Thomas. I'm sure there's a sequel to this one as well. I'm sure it's on my wish list somewhere. There are truths you can only tell a stranger. I think this sounds really interesting. I think when I initially bought it, I think it reminded me of Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I don't know if now reading the blurb reminds me of that again. I'm not sure, but it does sound really interesting, so hopefully it'll be good and I'll want to read the sequel as well. And then last but not least, we have The Forever House by Veronica Henry. I think I've read one other of her book and it was good. It was just, you know, easy to read, nice and simple. I think I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. I think that one will be quite good. I reckon I've actually put a couple of those books back into the wrong place, but I'll sort them out later. So that is this month's to read shelf. There's a few books on here I'm a little bit skeptical about. There's a few that I'm looking forward to, like the Carrie Fisher book, the Monique Martin series obviously. There's a few I reckon will be going out. Like I don't think there's going to be, I think I'm hoping this will be quite a fast shelf after the last shelf seemed to take forever. I hope you've enjoyed this month's currently to read shelf. If you've got anything you'd like to say, if you've read one of these books, or if you have a recommendation based off of one of these books, do let me know. I reckon that if you can go back and watch my previous videos, you can check out my Goodreads, and my Amazon will be linked down below obviously. As usual, there'll be a list of all the books with their ratings below as well. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope it involves an excellent book. Bye for now, guys.